The Blues return to winning ways in the Premier League after brushing Spurs aside at Stamford Bridge. Watch until the end of this review to hear all of my thoughts on today's match. Hello people, welcome to my channel, welcome to another video. This is my review of the match that took place earlier on today at Stamford Bridge in the Premier League between Chelsea and Tottenham Hotspur, which Chelsea ended up winning by 2 goals to 0. I can't stop smiling. But anyways, so what I'm going to do for you guys in terms of this review is that firstly, I will run you through the lineup that Thomas Tuchel fielded at the start of the match against Tottenham Hotspur. I will then be giving you guys my thoughts on the match itself, and in addition to this, as always, I'll be giving you guys the positives and the negatives that I took from the match. And lastly, I'll be giving you guys my thoughts on how Chelsea are doing going into the winter break in the Premier League. So without further ado, let's get straight into this review. So we shall begin this review by taking a look at the lineup that Thomas Tuchel fielded at the start of today's match against Tottenham Hotspur. And as always, we're going to begin by talking about the formation that was chosen for the lineup that was fielded. And in the case of today's match against Tottenham Hotspur, it was a 4-1-4-1. Yes, some Chelsea fans out there thought it was a 4-3-3, and I'm not going to lie to you. I was one of them, but it was a 4-1-4-1. But anyways, that's the formation that was chosen. In terms of the personnel that Thomas Tuchel went with, it was, or he went with Kepa in goal. The back four from right to left was Cesar Azpilicueta, Antonio Rudiger, Thiago Silva, and Malang Sarr. The midfield five, starting off with the one just ahead of the back four, was Jorginho, Hakim Ziyech, Mason Mount, Mateo Kovacic, and Callum Hudson-Odoi, and it was Romelu Lukaku up front by himself. So that is the lineup that Thomas Tuchel fielded at the start of today's match against Tottenham Hotspur. We shall now move on to my thoughts on the match. Now I am going to dive into my thoughts on the match that took place earlier on today between Chelsea and Tottenham Hotspur. And yes, I will begin by running you through my thoughts on the first half because, of course, it only makes sense that I do so. But yes, I thought that we made a fantastic start to the match. We literally had a golden chance to score inside the first minute through Romelu Lukaku. It came as a result of the ball being worked well down our right-hand side and Mason Mount getting the ball into the box for Romelu Lukaku to get on the end of, which he did exactly that. But the only thing that he didn't do was put the ball in the back of the net and maybe get the shot on target as well. And I know that's two things, but he really should have done a lot better with that chance, in my opinion. Yes, some of you are probably going to say that it was on his weaker right foot, but you're a striker. You should be able to shoot with both feet. And honestly, his technique was just all wrong there. He should have done a lot better. But it was a glorious chance. And after that, we did get into our stride. We started to go forward, or we continued to go forward. Our passing was really good, and so was our pressing. We forced Spurs back. We created some glorious chances, and I'm not going to run you through all of them because we'll be here for ages. But yes, we did create some brilliant opportunities. I think the one thing that was missing was the tempo in the final third, which is something that I can understand because of the formation. It was a formation that hasn't been used under Thomas Tuchel so far. But yes, in the first half, that was probably the only thing that was lacking in, well, no, not in the first half, but in the opening stages of the match. That was probably the only thing that was missing. The final pass and maybe on certain occasions the tempo of play, because there was a chance that Romelu Lukaku had where the ball was fizzed in and he tried to hit it with his right foot, but it just went through him. And Callum Hudson-Odoi got the ball, but he took too long on it, and Spurs were able to get the ball away from the goal they were defending. And that's an example of what I was talking about. But anyways, I thought that we took control of the match in the first half. We limited the amount of chances in which Spurs could create. Yes, they were a threat on the counter attack, and we did give the ball away a couple of times. And one of those times saw Harry Winks, I think it was, get a shot off, but it didn't test Kepa whatsoever. It was a routine save for him, but the way he just drove through our midfield, um, in that piece of play wasn't good enough. But we shored up the defense, and we just shored it up in general, and just stopped Spurs from being able to do that. But honestly, um, there are some things that I need to talk about in regards to the referee, because honestly, he got a couple of things wrong. And the first one, in my opinion, is to do with that horrible challenge on Malang Sarr. And I'm not surprised because this has happened to us against Spurs at Stamford Bridge before. But anyways, I'll get into it. How is it possible that a player is allowed to stay on the pitch after literally putting their studs into an opponent's leg and luckily not breaking it due to the fact that it wasn't planted? How is it possible? Because Matt Doherty was nowhere near the ball. The ball was gone. It went out for a throw in. And the annoying thing is that it went to VAR. It went to VAR and they didn't overturn the decision. It was reviewed for serious foul play, and for me, that really should have been a red card. That was an absolutely shocking challenge. And I do not understand how the pundits on Sky Sports didn't even talk about it during their coverage, because honestly, that could had that broken his leg, that could have ended his career. Let's be real, that could have ended his career. Um, and that's the first thing. The second thing that I wanted to talk to you about in regards to key incidents in the first half is the disallowed goal. Yes, I can understand that people will have different views on this. But when I first saw it, I thought it was going to be overturned. I'm not going to lie. But I guess the referee did come to the correct decision in the end. But honestly, um, there were quite a few decisions that did go against both teams. But yes, the one that takes the cake for me is the challenge on Malang Sarr, because honestly, that was an absolutely shocking challenge. But in terms of my overall thoughts on the first half performance from Chelsea, I actually thought that we were really good. We limited the amount of chances in which Spurs could create, although they did pose a threat on the counter attack. The only thing that was really missing was not only the final pass at times, but the finish, because we created enough chances to go into halftime with a lead. But yes, in terms of my thoughts on the second half now, goodness me, we started the second half like a train. I mean, we got the first goal inside the first 2 minutes of the second half starting, and what an absolutely sensational goal this is or was from Hakim Ziyech, who did deserve it because he was working really hard. He was spraying the ball about really well and getting into good positions and causing Spurs all sorts of problems by doing so. But yes, brilliant goal. It started with Callum Hudson-Odoi picking up the ball in the left midfield position, running with it, and then passing the ball to Hakim Ziyech after seeing him in acres of space. And Hakim Ziyech literally just got the ball out of his feet with a few touches and just fired the ball into the top left corner on his side. And I'm not gonna lie to you, when he released the ball, I thought it was going over the bar, but thankfully the ball just dipped. Thankfully, the ball just dipped at the right time and went into the top corner. Hugo Lloris might as well have not been in the goal because no keeper's safe in that. It was a brilliant shot, and a, a shot that I lost my trail of thought, and it was again, I lost my trail of thought. I'm that happy. But yes, it was a brilliant shot. And that was one of the things that I said we needed to do against Tottenham Hotspur, or just more of in general, because I don't feel that we take anywhere near enough long shots, and we didn't even take too many long shots in the game. But yes, thankfully, one of the ones that we did take resulted in a goal, and a brilliant goal. But yes, it was a deserved goal for us because I felt that up to that point we were the better side. We did create the better chances. It was just up to us to actually take them and prove that we were the better side by doing so. But yes, great goal, glorious goal, and I think it was 7 minutes later, something like that. But in the 55th minute, I think it was, we get the second, and credit has to be given to Callum Hudson-Odoi for winning the free kick in the first place, and it was a definite foul. He got caught by the leg of Eric Dyer. He left his leg hanging, and there was absolutely no time for Callum Hudson-Odoi to do anything about it because he did try to get the ball after touching it past Eric Dyer. But yes, it was a definite free kick, definite foul. Mason Mount put the ball in, and I have to say it's an absolutely majestic ball from him, and it meets Thiago Silva's head really well, and he just puts the ball into the top right corner on his side, giving Hugo Lloris absolutely no chance. And honestly, I thought we were going to get more, but we did just look to um, just see the game out. And I thought that um, after we scored the second, we had some glorious chances to get a third. I think the best one we had came through Romelu Lukaku when he got the ball from our left hand side. He managed to get away from the defender and he just hit the ball at the goalkeeper. And honestly, he should have done a bit better with that. But yes, overall, for me, it was a deserved win. We were by far the better team, and no Spurs fan can argue otherwise. Um, and I am really happy because we kept a clean sheet and everyone turned up. And in terms of the positives and the negatives that I took from the match, two positives, one negative. The first of the two positives that I took from the match is that we were persistent and we scored at the correct times. I think that it was always important for us to start the second half really quickly. And while it's not always easy to score right after coming out of the dressing room and getting onto the pitch for the second half, we did exactly that. And you have to give the players a lot of credit for that because, like I've just said, it's never easy to do that. But yes, we started the second half really well and we were persistent throughout. We didn't drop off, except for the period after we got the goals. We just kept going at it, and I felt that I thought that we were really strong, especially in the defensive third of the pitch, particularly in the last part of the match where we weren't doing too much attacking. But honestly, it was just a really good all round performance from the boys, and I'm extremely happy because it's been a long while since we last won in the Premier League and kept a clean sheet. Um, so I'm really proud of the boys. That's the first positive. I do digress. I did go off topic a bit. But anyways, the second and final positive that I took from the match is the fact that Hakim Ziyech was absolutely brilliant. Yes, the whole team did really well. But Hakim Ziyech for me was the best player on the pitch. He deservedly picked up the Man of the Match award, not just because of the goal for me, but his work rate, the way he was getting stuck in, the way he was getting stuck in and putting some challenges in. He did actually have another shot in the first half where he did try to cut in and shoot with his stronger left foot, but it didn't really threaten Hugo Lloris too much. But I thought he was everywhere today. He caused them all sorts of problems from an offensive point of view. He won a couple of free kicks as well. His link up play was really good. Yes, um, some of his passes were overhit a bit, but you can always forgive a player for doing that. But for me, he was easily the best player on the pitch, and that is the second and final positive that I took from the match. Sadly, there has to be a negative, and I hate to pick out negatives from such a strong performance. But the only one that I took from today's match is the fact that we squandered a lot of chances, but that will come with time. I can understand why that happened, but yes, those are the positives and the negatives that I took from the match, and that is it for my thoughts on Chelsea's 2-0 victory over Tottenham Hotspur at Stamford Bridge in today's match. Please, guys, do drop your thoughts in the comment section below, and as always, I shall do my very best to respond. We shall now move on to the last section of this review, which is my thoughts on how Chelsea are doing ahead of the upcoming winter break. Let's get into it. Now, to finish off this review, I am going to give you guys my thoughts on how Chelsea are doing ahead of the upcoming winter break in the Premier League. I do think that our form still needs to improve, but such a win over Tottenham Hotspur, who are, of course, one of our main rivals, can help us get back into good form. And I think that if we keep these performances going, then we can definitely string some wins together, and hopefully we do so. But yes, I do think that this break is needed because we do need some of our players back in order to stop other players from getting injured due to burnout. But yes, that's all I'm going to say for now. Thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed this review as much as I did. Um, Honestly, I'm going to struggle to stop smiling this evening. But yes, I'll see you all very soon. Thank you all for watching. Come on, you Blues. Come on, Thomas Tuchel. And peace.